Hey Bulls and Bears, what is happening? I hope everyone is good. Today is Tuesday. It is July 11th, 2023. Back with a very important update. My new chair that I just talked about a couple weeks ago, the feature where you lock it into position, you recline, and it holds that position, it failed. New chair. It's only been 2 months, right? So now I'm talking to Amazon. It was only returnable within 30 days. So you might see me falling back here now. You probably heard that a few seconds ago. My chair broke. I'm not. It's supposed to be a 250 pound capacity. There it goes again. And I'm only like 190, and my chair broke. Right. So are the products made more cheaply now? I don't know. But this chair didn't hold up very long at all. Let's get into the financial news, folks. We've got a lot of information to cover. We are on the brink of a lower cost of living. We're talking lower car prices, lower home prices, if everything stays as it is right now. We've got students having to resume their student loan payments. That's going to be less spending in the economy. That's going to be less demand for vehicles. Plus, we just had that Manheim Used Vehicle Index come out within the last few days, showing the biggest month-over-month drop in wholesale prices of used cars. Now, that's not going to show up in dealer lots, car dealers. It's not going to show up for a few more months. But as we get into later this year, you're definitely going to start seeing some lower car prices. Now, here's the thing about lower cost of living, or what some would call deflation. Not just talking about the money supply, but the cost of living and deflation and lower prices, basically. It's painted in the media as a bad thing. Here's an article of what's happening in China. China, on the brink of deflation, prices just started dropping over there. That's a huge red flag for the global economy. So the media likes to paint this falling prices as a negative thing. Well, it means that people can't borrow as much money as they used to, right? So with higher interest rates, with savings being basically almost evaporated for most people, they're able to buy less. So therefore prices are going to fall because less people can afford to buy it. That's actually a good thing, though, if you're waiting on the sidelines, waiting to buy something more affordable. So let me ask you a question. If gas prices dropped in half, would that be a bad thing? No, that'd be a good thing. So why are they so negative about falling prices, falling cost of living, and deflation, right? It's very interesting. What it comes down to, I'll give you the answer. What it comes down to is economic growth right now is gauged on people spending money. And the more debt people get in and the higher interest rates are, the less people are able to basically go further into debt. So that's going to be a damper on growing prices. And that's when you finally see prices falling and some price deflation. Now here's the thing. The economy's been turned upside down and inside out. In 2020, all of us should have witnessed housing bubble bust 2.0, housing bubble crash. It was not allowed to happen. We had over 7.5 million people get forbearance. Basically, foreclosures were stopped. That didn't happen in 2008. In 2008, many people lost their homes. And that's one of the things that made prices go down. Also, banks didn't lend out money at that time because before they were bailed out, banks were very cautious. Now we have unlimited bailouts, too big to fail, foreclosure forbearance. So what if they put forbearance in again and no one can get foreclosed? That would then stop this housing bubble, this current housing bubble, from going bust, right? So very interesting times. We've never seen such a manipulated, hands-on, intervened with economy and markets. And I'm talking about the stock market, the housing market, the car market, everything you can think of that people go out and spend money on. It's being tampered with, so to speak. Anyways, let's get into some other news here. Bank of America paid what looks to be a big fine. If you just look at the headline, Bank of America ordered to pay $250 million. Sounds like a lot of money, right? $250 million for opening up fake accounts, just like Wells Fargo, or similar to what Wells Fargo did a few years ago, if my memory serves me correctly, and charging illegal fees. So you may think, yay, Bank of America, they got them, for doing this stuff. Guess what? $250 million to Bank of America is like it's like 50 cents to you and me, right? So let's say you go do something really bad. Let's say you rob a bank and you get caught, and they say, okay, pay us 50 cents and you can go. That's basically what's happening to Bank of America. $250 million to Bank of America is like 50 cents to you and me. So pretty crazy, right? So another indicator that these banks are too big to fail, too big to jail. They're just going to get a slap on the wrist. Not even a slap on the wrist. A slap on the wrist, you know, that hurts a little bit. Getting charged 50 cents, that's even less than a slap on the wrist. There's no pain at all involved in that. Anyways, Bank of America has pulled a Wells Fargo. That's what's being reported here. Has agreed to pay this $250 million for opening unauthorized credit card accounts, improperly charging extra fees, and withholding rewards. You see, a lot of this has to do with their reporting and their quarterly results and how many new accounts they opened. So when they want to manipulate the stock price, what they have to do, or what they sometimes do, they don't have to, what they sometimes will do is they'll over-report certain numbers by opening up these fake accounts, and that way they can say, oh look, our stock went up because we had all this great news come out. So that's just one of the things that I get out of it. Also, here's what's being accused though. Bank of America wrongly withheld credit card rewards. Are we being serious? Are we serious? A company the size of Bank of America, with the profits of Bank of America, are going to try to withhold or scam people out of their credit card rewards? How lame is that? Right, I don't bank with Bank of America, nothing against Bank of America. I've got friends that work at Bank of America. But that just seems pretty, pick your word. Let me know what you think down in comments. Let's move on to the next story here. I should have mentioned this back when we talked about real estate. New York State bill putting a moratorium on foreclosures for people that can't pay their taxes. You heard that correct. There's so many people in New York that can't pay their property taxes. They had to suspend or put a moratorium on people getting their homes foreclosed, right? So this is another example of how bad the economy really is, but you're not going to notice it, right? So many people out there would have gotten foreclosed by now, nationwide and even currently in New York, if it weren't for these programs. The question would be, if anyone is questioning, you know, why they haven't seen or witnessed the economic collapse, it's things like this. They're preventing foreclosures, right? And I'm not saying that somebody should lose their home or get put on the street, but I'm just saying if you're looking at the economy and you're trying to figure out why it looks like everybody's rich, it's because of things like this, right? You would have seen a foreclosure tsunami again in 2020. New York would be really bad right now, so bad they had to pass this bill, this moratorium that you can't foreclose on somebody if they don't pay their taxes. A little more over here on the foreclosure situation nationwide, the housing market. Foreclosures are up about 14% year over year, not a huge spike, but this could be just the start, and who knows what other programs they're going to put in. But how much worse would the programs be if it weren't for all the rescue programs, rescue packages that came out? Or how much worse would the foreclosures be if it weren't for all the rescue packages? Up 7% month over month, but up 14% year over year according to Atom Data Solutions. And the three worst states are California, Florida, and Texas. Those three states are leading the increase in foreclosures. Also, here's some numbers to think about and put into perspective. Since November of last year, the US dollar is down over 9.6%, and gold is up over 18%, and that's with the price suppression. That's with naked shorting on the paper market to keep the cost of precious metals down. So I know it looks like it's not a good time to invest in gold, but even the gains that we've seen here compared to just holding dollars has been beneficial if you've been in that position to invest in metals. What I'm doing, I'm still stacking. I expect this whole thing to fall apart at some point. Could be all at once, or it could be a continual slow motion collapse. I expect the system to go dark at some point. I expect major conflicts with different countries, which is going to affect us here in the United States. I know many people think that that can never happen, but I think we're at a tipping point now where the globe is changing, and the political structure is changing, the power structure is changing, and countries are moving out of the dollar. That's the bottom line. It used to be not allowed. It used to be not allowed that countries were going to go outside of the dollar. Now we're seeing just that with all these BRICS nations. So expect turbulence. I expect a war to break out at some point, including possibly here on U.S. soil. More supply chain disruptions. I hope I'm wrong, But I'd like to hear your thoughts, your comments down there, and comments about that topic right there. In the meantime, continue stacking. That's what I'm doing. My favorite number one thing is still silver. And be careful where you keep your money. And it's only common sense to have at least 30 days living expenses, barterable goods, food, water, survival items. And all right, folks, we're going to wrap this up. I hope to see you again here tomorrow. Keep stacking. Bye now. Peace.